magnificent breakthroughs. But the question is, in the end, what kind of human being are you in your short trek from your mama's womb to tomb? And are you willing to engage in paideia at the deepest level, which has to do with your soul, your character? It has to do with the kind of person you will be and what will be said about you when your body is in that coffin or after your ashes are spread over whatever body of water that you so desire. What does it mean to be human? That Latin humando, which means burial. We're on our way to burial. The culinary delight of terrestrial worm. What I love about the black tradition is that we always believe in trying to keep it funky, which means we're highly suspicious of deodorized discourse. That's crucial. Sanitized disc. Look at how they sanitize Martin every January. Sterilized Malcolm. Mainstream all of these freedom fathers. Never confuse a love warrior and a freedom fighter with a polished professional. Because most polished professionals fetishize smartness and end up being well-adjusted to injustice and well-adapted to indifference. Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel used to say with such tremendous insight, indifference to evil is more insidious than evil itself. So no matter how smart you are, no matter how rich you are, if you're not willing to engage in parrhesia, frank speech, or plain speech, it doesn't have to be public. It can be microsocial, on the job, in your synagogue, in your mosque, in your trade union, in your university. A force for good, in the language of John Coltrane. That's what it means to bring to bear the best of black history. And I keep saying the best because black history includes black gangsters, black thugs. Every community has it. Black haters, black xenophobes, black patriarchs, black homophobes, black transphobes. I got many in my family. People ask me all the time, how could you call Donald Trump a gangster on TV every 2 weeks? I said, because he is. But I'm not engaging in name calling. A gangster is not a subjective expression, that's an objective condition. It's true. If you grabbing private parts of somebody, that's gangster. Another country got oil and you say you ought to get it? That's gangster. You see, as I said before, I'm a revolutionary Christian, which means that I was a gangster before I met Jesus, and now I'm a redeemed sinner with gangster proclivities. So when I call Trump a gangster, I'm talking about something inside of me. Trump is American as cherry pie. It's misogyny and white supremacy and transphobia and class arrogance and obsession with smartness, obsession with riches, ignorance flowing in the name of his claim to be smartness. He doesn't have a monopoly on that. Comes out of a long history. And black folk always keep track of it. And this is one of the challenges to a place like MIT and Harvard and others. Because one of the distinctive features of most American institutions is that we're in denial of the catastrophic and obsessed with the problematic. So everything's reduced to a problem rather than a catastrophe. There's never been such a thing as the race problem in America. There's been a series of catastrophes visited on black people. That's not a problem. No such thing as a woman's problem. There's been a catastrophe, a series of visited on women, working class people. The labor problem. No. That's from the vantage point of capital. That's from the vantage point of Wall Street. We're talking about the workers themselves dealing with daily life, wrestling with catastrophic circumstances. No such thing as an immigrant problem. I was in Arizona just a couple of days ago. They're about so upset. Mexicans coming in. Shoot, Arizona used to be Mexico. What you talking about? They just coming home. The Mexican War, one of the most trumped up, unjustified wars. And that's from the memoirs of Ulysses S. Grant. We're not talking about a radical anti-imperialist like Mark Twain. We're talking about somebody who fought in the war. He said this was a bogus war. This was a land grab, a power grab. That's what imperialism is. That's what the expansion of U.S. empire is. It's what it has been at its worst. We always want to keep track of the best and the worst. Any tradition, any group, the best inside it, the best of me, the worst of me. Now, what does that have to do with institutional provincialism? It means that from the very beginning, as we enter the dialogue, we first enter the dialogue with what we could call loosely hermeneutical humility. That the various interpretations that we put forward ought to be put forward in such a way that we recognize that we could be wrong as well as right. And we take each other seriously when we acknowledge that each one of us could be wrong or right. That's what it means to be a jazz woman or a blues man. To learn how to lift your voice, but also to listen. Not just hear an abstract, but listen. Because paideia, education, is about what? Transformation. Cheap schooling, just information. Never confuse the two. Information, indispensable. Information, necessary, not a sufficient condition for paideia. And hermeneutics, interpretation, self-invested interpretation. So when you talk about catastrophe, you begin with ecological catastrophe. Impending, escalating every day. Nuclear catastrophe. Increasing, especially with both Kim and Trump. Two gangsters. Possibility. Pushing the button. We haven't even talked about Russia and other countries with nuclear arms. What a bleak moment. Economic catastrophe. What is it now? The top 3 individuals in this empire have wealth equivalent to 50% of our fellow citizens, 160 million people. Well, Brother West, they're very smart and they worked hard. Oh, please. Please. Salute their smartness, their intelligence. We're talking about structures. We're talking about institutions in place. We're talking about policies that generate massive redistribution of wealth from poor and working people to the well-to-do. When I was the age of many of the young brothers and sisters who are undergrads right now at MIT, and we were struggling against the 1%, they had 21% of the wealth. Today, 1% got 41% of the wealth. That's a massive redistribution of wealth upward. And it continues. Under Obama, 1% of the population got 95% of the income growth. People ask me why I was upset with the black president. Please. I love blackness, but not enough to blind me and render me insensitive to the suffering of poor and working people. I don't care what color. And I'm stuck with the old-fashioned view that a precious baby in Yemen or Afghanistan or Pakistan or Somalia has the same value as a vanilla baby in Newtown, Connecticut, or a red baby in Standing Rock, or a brown baby on the east side of Los Angeles, or a black baby in Dorchester. Same value. Same righteous indignation, same moral outrage when innocent people are being killed. It could be a drone strike. It could be a police man or woman. It could be a fellow citizen. Innocent folk killed. And a precious Jewish baby in Tel Aviv has exactly the same value as a precious Palestinian baby in the West Bank or in Gaza, and vice versa. And if you really believe that, then it's going to pit you over against much of the mainstream discourse. And I think that's exactly what paideia at its best does. That's why we love Socrates at a distance. We love the intellectual operation. We don't love the hemlock moment. That's why we love Amos.